I had bought this 2006 Honda CRV in May 2019 with a suspected head gasket failure and blown radiator. The engine will not run at all, so although a compression test should only be done on a hot engine, I wanted to see if some cylinders had no compression at all. These are the main tools to remove the spark plugs and do the test. A 10mm long reach socket, a 16mm deep spark plug socket to fit a 10mm diameter spark plug, and a compression test gauge. So our first job is to get access to the actual spark plugs, which is below this cover. So we need to remove the 4 nuts on there using 10mm socket. Always wise to keep the parts in a magnetic tray if you can. So the rear ones are slightly longer than the front, which are just little cap nuts at the front. Then the cover just lifts off like that. It's just a plastic cover. And now we can see the 4 coil packs, which we need to unplug and unbolt as well. So this is 10mm socket again, but you'll need a long reach one for this, because those ones are a bit longer. So you need the long reach for these 2 bolts. Once we've undone those 4 bolts, we can gently lift up the coil packs and disconnect the wiring harness from each one of them. So you just push in this little plastic tag, push that in and pull the plug off, and that disconnects it. So there's the little plastic tag there, just where my thumb is, and the coil pack is there on the left. So just do the same for the others. So that's cylinder 2, then cylinder 3, and finally cylinder 4. When removing spark plugs, it's good practice to only undo them by 1 revolution, 360 degrees initially, and then blow compressed air down the tubes to clear the grit that would have possibly accumulated over time. Then remove them fully. This method should prevent any dirt or grit from dropping into the cylinders as the spark plugs are being removed. So this is the spark plug socket, which is a deep one, and that's 16mm. So like I say, if you just undo 1 revolution first off, and that way any grit and that at the bottom of the seat of the spark plug will just be lifted up, but it won't drop into the cylinders. If you don't have an air compressor, instead of blowing it, you might be able to suck it using a hoover, perhaps adapting it with some type of pipe just to fit down the tubes. Now that the spark plugs have been undone by 1 revolution, we can use compressed air to blow down and clear out any debris in the tubes. Please wear hearing protection and eye protection for this. Also note that blowing compressed air into confined spaces can result in very loud sound. So now we can unwind the spark plug fully and remove and have a look. So this is cylinder number 1. Normally spark plugs are bone dry. This does look damp and with some rust spots. I wonder if our problem is coolant leaking into the cylinder. So now on to spark plug number 2. See what we've got here. So this one looks similar condition. It also has like a wetness to it again. So now cylinder number 3. This one looks a little bit drier, though again there's the orange specks of rust. So it's looking like the head gasket has probably gone and coolant is leaking into the cylinders. And lastly, cylinder number 4. And there's the orange rust again. This plug looks drier, but definitely we've got rust on the spark plugs. Could this happen with just the car sitting idle for a couple of months with condensation, or is it coolant and the head gasket? Now remove the air filter so that the air isn't restricted to the cylinders while the test is being performed. I use these tools, 8mm and 10mm sockets and some pliers. So the air filter housing itself is held on with 5 bolts, and then you need an 8mm socket for that. So the Jubilee clip here is 10mm. Then using a pair of pliers, remove this spring clip. So with the screws undone now, you can just lift this up, put it off the pipe on the left hand side and the one at the bottom, which is the main one. It's quite a well built unit, this part, and there's the air filter at the actual top. It's like a tubular one. Now I did notice that there was a bit of oil on the pipe leading to the throttle body. This isn't a turbo model either. Ideally, the ignition system and fuel pump must be disabled for the test to avoid possible damage to sensitive electrical components. On the CRV, remove fuse 17, which is 15 amps. This will prevent the fuel pump working. To be honest, I couldn't locate how to immobilise the ignition, but did remove the 4 coil packs from the spark plugs. The fuse box was an internal one which was under the driver's side, and it's a 15 amp fuse, and just pull that out and that will stop the fuel pump from running. Here's the compression tester I'll be using, which is made by Sykes Picavant. This one measures up to about 20 bar or at least 290 psi. Comes with 2 common thread adapters for spark plugs, which is M14 and M18. Because the car had been left for a couple of months without the engine being turned over, I felt it wise to pour some very light machine oil onto the piston crowns and rotate the engine by hand a few times with a socket on the crankshaft. This oil you can see misting from the other cylinders during the test. So we just need to screw the compression tester into the cylinder where the spark plug would go and just tighten it by hand. Doesn't need any tools. Ideally you need to put the gauge somewhere where you can see it while you're cranking the engine, because you need to keep cranking until the gauge stops rising. So we now crank the engine on the starter motor until the gauge stops rising. So for cylinder 1 we've got about 115 psi. So we can now release the pressure and remove the gauge and put it into cylinder number 2. So again, it only has to be hand tight. So now let's see what cylinder 2 gives us. Struggling there. 95 psi, so that's fairly low. So now for cylinder number 3. I wonder if this one would be quite low as well. Oh, this one's struggling, isn't it? About 80 psi. That is very low. So release the pressure again and then move on to cylinder number 4. Not as easy as you think trying to get a compression gauge to face a camera. So let's see what we've got on number 4. It's going up quicker. That's a bit better, isn't it? It's about 140 psi. Best of the bunch. So the results of the test were as follows. Cylinder 1 115 psi, cylinder 2 95 psi, cylinder 3 80 psi, though I think I'd call that 95 psi because I could have cranked the engine a little bit longer, and cylinder 4 140 psi. Before we conclude the tests, we can add a teaspoon of SAE 30 oil to each cylinder. This will act as a sealant for the piston rings and may indicate the condition of the rings if the new PSI results are considerably higher than they were before. So I'll use just a small funnel, like this little red one. And try and carefully measure 1 teaspoon of the SAE 30 oil and just drop that into each cylinder. So that should work its way around the crown of the piston, and being quite a thick oil should seal temporarily around the piston rings. Should increase our PSI. So going back to cylinder number 1, we'll put our compression tester back in and we'll repeat the test. Okay, so to repeat the test again, but now with all the cylinders having a teaspoon of oil in. This time I put a cloth over the open cylinders to avoid the oil being shot out and all over the car or into my eyes. So here goes for cylinder number 1. There's about 130 psi. So that's about a 15 psi increase. So we'll remove that now and go on to cylinder 2. Okay then, let's see what cylinder 2 gives us. So that's about 105 psi. So that's an increase of about 10. Be interesting to see what cylinder 3 gives us. So this has gone a lot higher. Okay, I've cranked it a bit longer, but that's now 140 psi. So that's possibly an increase of between 45 to 60 psi. That's a very significant increase. Okay, moving on to cylinder number 4. Let's see what this one gives us. Not very helpful, the gauge is wanting to face the bulkhead of the car. Gonna have to use our imagination with our camera placement on that one. So here goes for cylinder number 4. So that's about 150 psi. So okay, that's a modest increase of about 10. So that seems to be in line with cylinder number 1 as well. Okay, so we finished with the compression tester, though you do need to bear in mind that you would normally do this on a hot engine. I've only done it on a cold engine because the engine actually won't start, and I just wanted to see if there was no compression at all in some of the cylinders. So the results of this test were as follows. Cylinder 1 is now 130 psi, which is an increase of 15. Cylinder 2 is 105 psi, which is an increase of 10. Cylinder 3, 140 psi, which is an increase of 45 to 60, something odd there. Cylinder 4 is 150 psi, which is an increase of 10. Now we have the results from the compression test. We can replace the spark plugs, coil packs and the cover. The torque settings are as follows. Spark plugs are 18 Newton meters. The ignition coil retaining bolts or coil packs is 12 Newton meters, and the plastic cover is 9.8 Newton meters. Cross-threading a spark plug into the soft aluminium head can be a risk. So if you use a plastic tube, you can pop this onto the end of the spark plug and use this to initially tighten the spark plug into the cylinder head. I also pop a little bit of anti-seize copper paste onto the spark plug thread, just to ensure that it will come out next time. So using the plastic tube, you can't cross thread it then, and then you just lift the tube off. I think this piece of plastic tube I got is by Eheim and used on the Weiss fish tank. Just take a small piece. But it was a little bit too wide in diameter, so I had to cut a slit at the side of it and take a slight slither out and then run some tape round just to bring the edges back together, and then that grips it just right. If you don't have a torque wrench that can go down to 18 Newton meters, they do suggest that you put the spark plug in, and once it's seated, tighten it no more than half to 3/4 of a turn. Though this is one area where a torque wrench really should be used, as over tightening could damage the threads on the head. I'm just going to check them by hand now, because your hands are very sensitive and you can tell if something's threaded incorrectly or not. So I'm just going to check them, and then once I know that they are correct, I can then move on to the torque wrench. So we need to torque those, and it's only 18 Newton meters, so it's not a lot. Need a very small torque wrench for this. So we can now insert the coil packs for the spark plugs and just pop the connector on. They just push on. And cylinder 2, click. cylinder 3, and lastly cylinder 4. So we now need to put the 4 bolts back in that hold the coil packs in position. Now 2 of them have like standoffs on, which is these ones. There's one there, and the one next to it, because that reaches up for the top cover. And then the other 2 bolts are just normal bolts, like so. Now these bolts need a very small torque wrench, as they're only tightened up to 12 Newton meters. I guess you could summarise that as probably just sort of finger tight. And now for the top cover. And again, we've got 2 longer reach ones at the rear. These are them. Another long reach one at the back. And then 2 little cap nuts at the front. And these ones are tightened to only 9.8 Newton meters. This is where cycling comes in handy, because you need to be able to tighten the handlebars to like 5 Newton meters on a bicycle, and thankfully I've got the torque wrench for that. But it's ideal also for cars, especially where it's only a light load. So onto the air filter now. So we replace the Jubilee clip and push the breather hose back on. So it's 10mm on the Jubilee clip. And 8mm on the 5 bolts that hold the air filter together. And then just some pliers to bring the snap clip back up onto the breather hose. Thank you for watching, and hope you found this helpful.